The Whine and Cheese show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheeese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts, one's from Australia, one's from the Bronx.
Snack size.
Which we'll do these last two as a package deal. Now, we know that within the Upland Metaverse, we have recently had car NFTs come into play and like racing and this and that and the other thing. Now, we do know that Upland is trying to work with car manufacturing brands to bring them into the Metaverse, and they have said that users will be able to create their own car brands and sell their own car NFTs and this, that, and the other thing. Well, there's two examples here where people aren't waiting, they're just doing it. Renault has inked partnership with the Sandbox to bring automotive experiences to the Metaverse. And I'll just flick straight over to the other one as well. Ford prepares to enter the Metaverse with virtual automobiles and NFTs. So Ford and Renault, that's not exactly small companies we're talking about here. So again, we got the Sandbox mentioned here.
They're late. Upland already did it in your face, Sandbox.
Yeah, but Sandbox has signed the partnership. So what big deal has Upland signed for cars? None that we know about as yet. So
None that we know about.
I don't know that we can say in your face just quite yet. So yes.
Yeah, but why does it have to be a big company? Like we can, like they have car NFTs that we can race around in and do business with.
Well, it just comes to
money.
the big companies come with big names and big eyeballs, more eyeballs. So.
Yeah,
if you get Joe Blow's machine shop signed a deal with the Upland Metaverse, nobody's going to care about that. So, sorry, Jeff, I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, and it's their big marketing dollars because it. And what's just like the Nike NFTs and the Tiffany NFTs, they're not doing this because they love NFTs. They're doing this to sell cars. Yes. They're just smart enough that they're getting on to something that is hip and new, and there's hundreds of millions of people who are in this space, and they're thinking, well, let's be the coolest car company. So they're wanting to sell cars.
And it's a reach around situation. Like, yes, they want to sell cars, but with Renault signing the deal to Sandbox, that kind of gives massive legitimacy to the Sandbox Metaverse as well. So there's also that whole angle.
Yeah, absolutely. What will be interesting? I don't think it'll happen, but depending on how I don't know what the word would be, how emotionally charged the Sandbox users are, and if they go, oh, you're now selling out, it's like the Metallica fans who all went crazy when they did the Symphony album. Like it's like, oh, you're selling out, you're not who you used to be. But I don't think that's the case. I think for just like Metallica, for every fan they lost, they gained 3. So
yeah, absolutely. Where you at, Cheese? You're on mutage. What are you doing?
Sorry, I had to sneeze. I didn't want to. I forgot to put it back.
Yes. So, yeah, I think it's a bit strange. Like the Sandbox Metaverse has hardly any users, hardly any active monthly users. But all of these big companies are just piling in. I guess the Sandbox must have one hell of a marketing team behind it.
Well, I think don't underestimate the ignorance of investors. And I'm sure there's something at play here. Is some CEO at some C-level person at Renault that went, we need to get involved in NFTs and this whole thing. Does anybody know anything about it? yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard of this company called Sandbox. Great, get in touch with them. Let's make a deal. And then nobody went and thought, because and okay, start Googling who's in this space, and then all of a sudden Sandbox is on page one every time you Google something, and then
Yep.
you go, oh, they must be the biggest. Let's make a deal with them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. So it says here that Renault is not the first automaker aiming to place products in the metaverse. In fact, the metaverse has become a popular destination for these companies. Volkswagen organized an advertising campaign in April called Game On, in which users had to hunt NFTs in a metaverse environment. It mentions Nissan, Hyundai. We even know that the Mercedes Formula One team did a whole bunch of stuff with NFTs on the FTX platform. So yeah, it's all happening with cars. So that's about Renault and Sandbox. Now, I don't think, do you know the Ford Morecheese? What metaverse was that on? Ford prepares
I don't
to
know if they
metaverse.
mention it. They just said that they're
This is interesting. A trademark application covering its future efforts in the metaverse and NFT space comes only a month after the company announced huge staff cuts. Ouch. American car manufacturer Ford Motor Company is the latest car brand prepping its entry into the world of NFTs and the metaverse, filing 19 trademark applications across its major car brands. Oh, now that's interesting. Actually going ahead to, here we go. The trademark applications cover virtual cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, and clothing. Jesus, this is what's happening with Upland.
I know, that's what I was saying.
Also covering a proposed online marketplace for NFTs. So it sounds like they're trying to do their own thing.
I think that's inevitable too.
Yes, look at this. Ford is making a big move into the metaverse. The company has filed 19 trademarks, blah, 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 blah. This is in a tweet. And it mentions a whole bunch of the models. According to documents filed by Ford on September 2nd, the car manufacturer plans to create downloadable artwork, text, audio, and video featuring its cars, SUVs, blah, 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 which will be authenticated by NFTs.
So instead of when Lambo, it's going to be when Mustang.
Maybe.
But
yes. There are also intentions to create a marketplace to promote the digital artwork of others through a website, along with online retail store services featuring NFTs and digital collectibles. Well, there you go. It doesn't mention anything. So it sounds like it's just going out and doing its own thing.
Maybe they're shopping around still. Or maybe they're in something with Upland and they can't say yet.
Yes, well, that's kind of what my brain went to when I read that. When you read virtual cars, virtual trucks, SUV, well, I can't say SUVs for some reason, but yeah.
That
Wouldn't that be a scoop?
Mike come down the sky below, and that thing looks kind of like X1.
I could I could see
this guy.
Like what I'm reading into that is potentially that Ford's is going out and getting a bunch of developers and saying, hey, build this cool metaverse where people can drive around in Ford cars and just create their own thing.
They already have that. It's called Upland.
Yeah. Big companies like big companies out of Detroit don't like to give anything away. So if they can control it.
Well, it kind of speaks to the point that we've been making on this show since it started, where Web3 and all of this, it doesn't have to be like this massive. Not going to have to wear goggles and all this sort of stuff to be involved. It can be simply like taking your website to the next level to be more immersive experiences for your customers.
Oh, that's 100% the strategy that I'm applying to the Laughing Otter is make it use the technology of Web3 and the excitement of Web3. And what I think is the most powerful part of Web3 is the emotionally charged, intelligent, driven people who are in this space and you harness all that, but don't make it so exclusive that you're alienating a large percentage of the population. There is an opportunity here to leverage all the great stuff that Web 2 has done, get rid of some of the bad, and add on another layer. It's and really, like, I was in a Twitter space the other day where somebody's like, no, it's got to be Web 3. You're either Web 3 or you're Web 2. There's no in between. I'm like, what technology has ever been like that? Like cars were built on a 4-wheel chassis because that was the most stable for horse carriages. Like, there was, everybody builds on top of what was done in the past. So why are we ignoring 30 years of development and stuff that's happening in Web 2? Because not all of it's bad. Like, most of it's great. So anyway, there's a little rant.
This Metatainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor Metaventure. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
Empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off your drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. Evil empire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Time for wine and cheese.